Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. This slide is properly visible now. The screen is properly visible, everyone. The screen is properly visible, everyone. Damodara, Abhishek, Shruti. The screen is properly visible, na? Okay. Ansu, good morning. The screen is properly visible. All of you can see this screen. I hope all of you can see this screen properly. The screen is properly visible and I am audible too. So let's start the today's class. Today we are going to discuss a new chapter. The name of the chapter is Breathing and Exchange of Gases. The name of the chapter is Breathing and Exchange of Gases. Clear? This is chapter 17 and this is the last chapter of your class 11 bio syllabus. This is the last chapter of your class 11 bio syllabus because already we have completed the rest portion of the syllabus. So this is the last chapter. The name of the chapter is Breathing and Exchange of Gases and this is chapter 17. This is chapter 17. Okay. And before starting the today's class, I am going to discuss something that I think already all of you have got the routine of your first pre-mock exam. I think all of you got it. So one thing, all of you, please remind one thing, that keep it in mind that this exam will be held in offline mode. I think all of you know all those things. And the full marks of the bio exam is 70. It means the exam will be held on the full syllabus. The exam will be held on the full syllabus. Okay. Okay, I will send the blueprint. First, I will complete the chapter. Okay, within Friday, I will complete this chapter, and from Monday, I will start to revise all the chapters through Google Meet, and in your Google Classroom, I will send the blueprint. Okay, I will share the blueprint of the question paper. Okay, yeah, the exam will be held in online mode. Okay. This exam will be held in online mode. Clear? Okay. So this is your last chapter, the breathing and exchange of gases. And from the name of the chapter, I think all of you can understand that this chapter actually means the respiratory system, the description of the respiratory system. Clear? So let's start the today's class. First, you should know what is the meaning of respiration. First, you should know what is the meaning of respiration. What does it mean? It means this is the oxidation of nutrients in the living cells to release the energy for biological work. Clear? So in the normal term, in the general term, in the common term, you can write in this way: this is the exchange of gaseous material. This is the procedure through which the oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange to each other, and it maintains the equilibrium to our environment, to our body. Okay. What does it mean? The breathing. This is the exchange of oxygen from the atmosphere with carbon dioxide produced by the cells. Clear? So this is the overviews of the respiration and breathing system. Next is the respiratory organs. So what does it mean? That for the respiration, for the respiratory system, there are some organs which performs this respiration. So that this first is the general body surface. But through this general body surface, some invertebrates animals can respire, not the vertebrates, like the lower invertebrates, sponges, Nidaria, flatworms, etc. Okay. Next is the skin or moist cuticle. So through this skin or moist cuticle, the earthworms, leech, and amphibians can respire. Okay. Okay. So for all those terms are quite important for your 1 mark question. That there might be this type of question that write down the respiratory organ of the amphibians. Write down the respiratory organ of the leech. Okay. Next is the tracheal tubes. So through these tracheal tubes, or by these tracheal tubes, these insects, centipedes, millipedes and spider, actually it means the arthropods group. It means the arthropods group can respire through these tracheal tubes. Okay. Next is the gills. So through the gills, fishes, tadpoles and the prawn can respire. Okay. Next is the lungs. Most vertebrates, maximum vertebrates respire through the lungs, including us. Okay. So next topic is the human respiratory system. Today we are going to discuss the human respiratory system. Okay. So this human respiratory system is broadly categorized into two types: the air tract, the air passage, actually the paired lungs. Okay. So this is the structure of the human respiratory system. So all those organs actually perform this respiration process, and all those organs accumulate together and form the human respiratory system. Okay. First is the nasal cavity. It means the nose. The common term is the nose. Okay. This is the nostril, this is the nasal cavity, this is the oral cavity. So through our mouth also we can respire. Okay. Next is the larynx. This is the pharynx, this is the trachea, this is the right main primary bronchitis, this is the bronchus, this is also the right side, this is the left side. Okay. This is the ribs, this is the left lung, this is the right lung, this is the pleura. Okay. The membrane between the lungs is called the pleura, and this is the diaphragm. Clear? So all those organs performs a great role for the exchange of the gaseous material in our body. Okay. So how these all organs performs this role? First, it transports the atmospheric air into the alveoli. It clears air from the foreign particles, and then it humidifies and brings the air to body temperature. Okay. Next part is this is the pathway. So for your exam, this pathway is very much important. For your exam, this pathway is very much important. Clear? So first, air transport by the external nostril. Okay. Then nasal passage, then nasal chamber, then nasopharynx, then glottis, then larynx, then trachea, then primary bronchi, then secondary bronchi, then tertiary bronchi, then bronchioles, then terminal bronchioles, then respiratory bronchiole, and then the alveoli duct. This knob-like structure present in the lungs area, that's called the alveoli. I think all of you know all those terms because all of you have studied all those things in your class 9 to 10 standard. Okay. Okay. Let's start the discussion about the larynx. What is the meaning of the larynx? So larynx, actually the common term is called the sound box or voice box. Okay. So it's a cartilaginous box which helps in sound production. During swallowing, glottis is closed by epiglottis to prevent the entry of food into the larynx. Okay. So trachea, all bronchi and initial bronchioles are supported by the incomplete cartilaginous harboring. So this is the structure of the larynx. This is the structure of the larynx. Clear? This is the epiglottis. This is the hyoid bone. Okay. This hyoid bone is present behind our tongue. Clear? So this is the thyroid cartilage. This is the carciothyroid muscles. This is the cricoid cartilage, and this is the trachea area. Okay. This knob-like structure, this hollow bone-like structure is called the trachea. This is the vocal cords in action. Next is the lungs. These lungs are situated in thoracic chamber and rest on diaphragm. Okay. So right lung has 3 lobes and left lung has 2 lobes. So each lung is covered by double layered membrane, that's called the pleura, and this is important for your 1 marks question, that what is the meaning of pleura, or write down the definition of pleura. So you have to write in this way, that this is the external covering of the each lungs. This is the external double layered covering of each lungs. Clear? So the pleural fluid present in between these 2 layers to lubricate the surface of the lungs, to maintain the humidity of the lungs and prevents the friction between the membrane. Clear? Next is the lungs. This is the structure of lungs. The lungs equals to bronchi plus bronchioles plus alveoli. What does it mean? It means the one lungs is formed by these three things: the bronchi, these bronchioles, and the alveoli. Okay, alveoli and their ducts from respiratory or exchange parts of the respiratory system. This is the bronchiole. This is the alveoli. Look at the structure. All those things are not important for your exam, for your understanding. Actually, that's why I have made this portion. Okay, look, this is the pharynx, this is the larynx, this is the trachea area, this is the bronchial tube, these two are the lungs, and the external covering of the lungs is called the pleura. Okay, and all those, the sac like structure is called the alveoli. Okay, this is the actual, this is alveoli is actually the air passage. Okay, next is the internal structure of the lungs. Okay, next is the steps of respiration. This is very much important for your exam. If you want, you can take screenshot of this slide. The steps of respiration. This is important for your exam. Okay, first is the pulmonary ventilation. It's called the breathing. Then gas exchange between the lungs, alveoli, and blood, and then gas transported, oxygen transport and carbon dioxide transport. Then gas exchange between the blood and tissues, and then the cellular or tissue respiration is occurred. So this is the overviews of the steps of respiration. This is actually the overviews of the steps of respiration. Clear? Okay. Breathing. This breathing system actually two types: the inspiration and the expiration. Okay, the inspiration process and the expiration process. So what does it mean, the inspiration? Inspiration means the active intake of air from the atmosphere into lungs. So please remind this, please note it down, this word, the intake of air. Okay, not the exhale. This is the inhalation of air, not the exhalation. This is the active inhalation, active intake of air from the atmosphere into lungs. Clear? Okay, next is the expiration. This is the passive expelling of air from the lungs. What does it mean? It means the passive exhalation of air from the lungs area. That's called the expiration. Inspiration, I am repeating again because this is important for your exam, that what does it mean the inspiration and what does it mean the expiration. Maximum students write just opposite thing, like the inspiration, in the case of the inspiration they write that this is the active exhalation of air, not like this. Okay, inspiration means the active intake of air, active inhalation of air, okay, from the atmosphere into lungs, and expiration means the passive expelling of air from the lungs. Clear? Okay, what happened in the case of the inspiration? What happened in the case of the inspiration? Okay, this is also important for your exam, that this mechanism of breathing. This is actually the topic, the name of the topic is the mechanism of breathing. Okay, so this is important for your 3 marks question, that how breathing process takes place in our body. Okay, how breathing process takes place in our body. So this is important for your exam, and during the time of your exam you can write your answer in this schematic way with the diagram. Clear? Because in your NCERT books there are no schematic diagram for this answer. So if you want, you can take screenshot of this slide, because during the time of your exam you can write your answer in this schematic way. This is the time saving procedure. Okay, that procedure is the time saving procedure. Clear? Okay, first diaphragm contracts. Okay, what does it mean? That diaphragm is flattened, and next external intercostal muscles also contracts. Okay, next vertical volume increases. What does it mean, the vertical volume? The anterior, look at the structure, the anterior posterior axis, the anterior posterior region. Okay, next the ribs and sternum lift up. volume in dorsoventral axis is also increases. What does it mean? Actually, for the inhalation or for the intake of air, the main motto is to increase the volume of area, to increase the volume of area in our ribs region, in our chest region. Clear? Next, thoracic volume increases, thoracic pressure decreases. Okay. After that, the lungs expand and pulmonary volume increases. Next, intrapulmonary pressure decreases and air moves from outside into the lungs. Clear? So this is the overviews of the inspiration process. This is the overviews of the inspiration process. Look at the structure. Look, rib cages expand as rib muscle contracts, then air inhaled, then lungs and diaphragm is also lifted up and volume increased, and in this process inhalation diaphragm contracts and moves down and the inhalation process takes place in our body. So what is the main motto or what is the main thing of the inspiration process? That in this process what happened? The maximum area or maximum volume of area is increased. Clear? For the movement of the air, for the intake, for the inhalation of the air. Clear? Okay. Next is the expiration. What happened in the case of the expiration? That this does opposite to the inspiration, that intercostal muscles and diaphragm relax, thorax region its original position, thoracic volume decreased, pulmonary volume decreased, and air moves out. Clear? So this is just the opposite to each other, this inspiration and the expiration. Okay. This is the structure of the or mechanism of the breathing system. So during this is very important question for your 3 marks question, that write down the mechanism of breathing system with the proper label diagram. So you can write your answer in this schematic way. Okay, you can write your answer in this schematic way. Clear? Okay. Next is the some terms are there. Some terms are there related with this respiratory system, and this is the last topic for today's class, that all those terms, their full form and their definition. Some terms are there like the TV, the tidal volume. Okay. Next is the IRV. It means the inspiratory reserve volume. Next is the ERV. It means the expiratory reserve volume. Next is the RV, residual volume. Next is the IC, inspiratory capacity. Next is the EC, expiratory capacity. Next is the FRC, functional residual capacity. Next is the VC, vital capacity. And last one is the TLC, total lung capacity. So all those terms are quite important for your 1 mark question. All those terms are important for your 1 mark question. Clear? So TV, what does it mean? The tidal volume. That means the volume of air inspired or expired during a normal respiration. So this is the amount of air which inspired or expired during a normal respiration process. It's about 500 ml. So during the time of your exam, if you forget these terms, then don't write. Okay, but don't write any wrong information. Okay. Okay, Anshu, what you have written? Ma'am, diagram also you have to draw. Just the schematic diagram. This ribs areas diagram. Look at the structure. What happened actually? Okay, not this human structure. Only the ribs area structure with the labeled portion. Okay, with the labeled portion. Okay, not this human structure. Okay, only draw this ribs area portion with this leveling. What happened actually? Clear? Okay. So this is the tidal volume. Okay, next is the IRV, the inspiratory reserve volume. What happened in the case of the inspiratory reserve volume? That the additional volume of air that can inspire by the forceful inspiration. After the normal respiration, the volume of air which added extra that can inspire by the forceful inspiration, the amount of the IRV is the 500 to 3000 ml. Okay. Next is the ERV, the additional volume of air that can be expired by a forceful expiration. Okay, it's the 1000 to 1100 ml. Clear? So all those things are quite easy and quite simple thing. Just when you study all those things, when you learn all those things, just keep it in mind that don't write all those information, don't write the wrong information during the time of your exam. Clear? Okay. Next is the RV. It means the residual. Residual means that the left portion. Okay. So the volume of air remaining in lungs after a forcible expiration. So amount of air which left in the lungs area after a expiration, after the forced expiration. Okay. Next is the inspiratory capacity. Total volume of air inspired after a normal expiration. So TV plus IRV. TV means the total volume and IRV means the inspiratory reserve volume. So what does it mean? It means the total volume of air, the normal respiration and the forceful inspiration. The normal inspiration and the forceful inspiration, the total volume of air inspired after a normal expiration. Clear? Okay. Next is the EC. EC means the excretory capacity. Total volume of air expired after a normal inspiration. TV plus ERV. This is just the opposite to each other. Okay, this is just the opposite to each other. Next is the FRC, functional residual capacity. What does it mean? That the volume of air remaining in the lungs after a normal expiration. Volume of air remaining in the lungs after a normal expiration. ERV plus RV. It's the 2100 to 2300 ml. I am repeating again. What does it mean? The FRC? It means the volume of air remaining in the lungs after a normal expiration. After the exhalation of the air, the amount of air which remains in the lungs, that's called the FRC. Next is the vital capacity. Volume of air that can breathe in after a forced expiration or volume of air that can breathe out after a forced inspiration. I am repeating again that the volume of air that can breathe in after a forced expiration, okay, or volume of air that can breathe out after a forced inspiration. That's called the VC. And last one is the TLC, total lung capacity. It means the total volume of air in the lungs after a maximum inspiration. Total lung capacity means the actually the volume of lungs area where the maximum amount of air can accumulate through the inspiration process. So that's called the TLC, total lung capacity, and in a normal healthy human being, their total lung capacity is the 5000 to 6000 ml. 5000 to 6000 ml. Clear? So this is the basic terms of the respiratory volumes and the capacities. Okay, next is the respiratory volumes of capacities. Next is the part of the respiratory tract not involved in gaseous exchange is called the dead space. So in the all organs, not all organs are performs a great role for this respiration process. Okay, some portions are left not involved in the gaseous exchange, that's called the dead space, like the nostrils to terminal bronchi. Nostrils to terminal bronchi. So this dead air volume is about 150 ml. Dead air volume is about 150 ml. Clear? So what does it mean, the dead space? Dead space means the portions of respiratory tract which not involved in the gaseous exchange, that's called the dead space. Okay. So respiratory cycle equals to the an inspiration plus an expiration, that's called one respiratory cycle. Next is the normal respiratory rate, 12 to 16 times per minute. Next is the spirometer to measure the respiratory rate. Okay, all those terms are important for your just 1 mark question. What does it mean, the respiratory cycle? What is the meaning of the breathing rate? What is the meaning of the spirometer? Okay, so all those terms are important for your just 1 marks question. So tomorrow I will discuss the gas exchange process. Okay, tomorrow I will discuss the gas exchange process. So today just I have discussed the human respiratory system and the mechanism of breathing. The mechanism of breathing. Okay. So tomorrow I will discuss the normal gas exchange process, and day after tomorrow we will discuss the disorder which is related with the respiratory system. Then chapter will be completed. Okay. After that we'll start the revision. After that we'll start the revision. No, not required, Abhishek. Not required to remember all the numerical value in the capacity and volume. If you want, you can remember, but that's not mandatory. If you want, you can remember, but that's not mandatory. But during the time of your exam, don't write any wrong information. Don't write any wrong numerical value. Okay? Otherwise, your answer will be wrong. So if you forgot this numerical value, then don't write. That's not mandatory. Just write the definition properly. Clear? Okay. So I think all of you understood. So I am ending this session, and tomorrow I will discuss the gas exchange procedure. So don't be absent, and after completing this chapter, we will start the revision in GMIT. Clear? Okay. Thank you. Bye. Bye.